All right.
Whew.
All right. Hey, everybody watching. I see PC and Stephanie and
Dave.
Dave all in the chat. Um, it's the Archangel Kenny. That's funny. That was a good one. Zach, what's up, everybody?
Music.
Uh, so today we kind of redid things, and Jess came out with an awesome intro there. That is that thing's so cool. I love that, and
Like it.
it's perfect for the show. Uh, Jess made that, and we Jess actually came up with the name, the Spoiled Ham name, and um, we Ken Ham's not giving us any shortage of content to look at and stuff, and they're short videos, so they're easy to do in a reasonable amount of time, and everything for that's working out perfect. So we're gonna do this every Friday going forward, and I think that I think that given the whole Ark Encounter thing coming up, like since we're leading into that this is again fits perfectly. Speaking of which, we secured a couple speakers for that event now. Mark Alsop, who's been on here and promoted his book and talked and all that stuff, was he's he's gonna actually help physically do the setting up of the stuff and speak at it. And today I got an email from Aaron Ross saying he would be more than happy to come and help out and be a speaker at it. So everything is progressing as planned. We need to get the fundraising stuff set up so we can pay to do those things. Because the event will be completely crowd-funded. Well, not completely, mostly crowd-funded. And then I've got a couple other resources that will help out if need be, but I'm trying to not use those if I can avoid it. So anyway, the Ark Encounter protest July 6th, we'll be talking about that a lot. I will have the people that are going to be speakers, I'll have them come on shows leading up to it. Aaron will be here again. Mark will be on again. I've got a couple other people that I'm not going to say any names right now because they haven't confirmed that I'm working on getting to come to it and stuff. Some of which you're familiar with, some of which you may not be. I think everybody's familiar with these people. The but as we get closer and stuff, we'll do a whole lot of stuff to promote that, and there'll be a lot of big things. We'll do a lot of events and different stuff to help push that and get as many eyes on it as we can. Today, very special Ken Ham nonsense.
Yes.
We've got two. You get two for the price of one today.
Are we just doing two? Are we not doing the third one? I didn't know.
Do you? I mean, we can do the third one if you
I
want.
haven't watched it. I was waiting just in case you did.
Well, let's save the third one for next week, and if we do two again next week,
Okay.
then so be it.
Hey,
But if we start getting behind, then we'll go ahead and do as many as we got to do next week or whatever. But
okay.
I think it'll work out to where we have two next week because I think Ken Ham uploads on a schedule.
He does, yeah.
So it should work out that by the time next week rolls around, we'll have two again. And I mean, I don't know if we have to do more of this or record some of them or whatever. We'll do whatever we got to do though. We're going to try and cover everything Ken Ham puts out just to be a thorn in his
Yes.
strange side.
And we shall spoil his ham.
We shall spoil his ham. Yes. There was a little viewer discretion warning at the beginning. When we get into this video, it is kind of a sensitive topic. We're gonna there's some. Did I just screw everything up? Oh, okay, there it is. There's we're going to be there's some video and stuff that talks about school shootings and stuff. Ken Ham decided to
Be Ken Ham.
be a piece of shit, I guess is the best way to put it. I mean, like just be an awful person that he is. And so he's he really exploits that stuff. But there's some clips and things that may be upsetting to people. So again, I want to say your discretion is advised. If that's something that upsets you or whatever, you may want to set out the first half of the video. The second one isn't quite like that. It's
Lighter.
it's regular old Ken Ham stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't watched all of either of these videos because I didn't want to spoil the ham before we got here to spoil the ham. And Cutie Patootie Studios.
Yeah, that's my best friend. That's not DV now because my best friend in town.
Oh, I like the.
In case DV and Outcast is watching, she's still my bestie too.
We're gonna have a best friends fight here in a minute. I like the channel name. I like that. That's cool.
She makes the best stuff, and she just started a YouTube channel.
Well, I mean, it's called Cutie Patootie Studios. It has to be good at that point.
Right.
So, what have you been doing, Jess? Before we get going, we'll kind of bullshit around here. Give a few more minutes for whoever's going to show up.
I've been making mushrooms, and honestly, just working on trying to edit stuff. And I've got another intro idea in my brain. Shocker. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, I've got some workshops coming up that I've been working on for miniature stuff. So one of them is like a little dome scene, and the other one will be with my friend Stacy that I've got set up for spring, where we'll be making little mushrooms, and then they're going to decorate pots, and then they're going to do like a plant organization thing within the pot with another creator. So, yeah.
Well, that sounds fun. You obviously carry all the creative parts here. Things I would never think of, but sounds fun.
It is fun. I don't know. I'm a shy one. This is big for me coming on camera again.
Well, no, I'm glad that you started. I kind of thought for the longest time now, because I was like, eventually, because I know you and I actually the first time we talked was on video. You were on screen moderating and the over on Mark Reed's channel. But I kind of figured like eventually I'll get Jess to do more and more stuff, and then she can come on and actually co-host some stuff with me and have some fun. Because you and we have fun talking about these things behind the scenes.
We do. We have best Discord conversations, honestly.
Yeah. So now we get to do it here, and there's Robin Webster. She'll be making an appearance back next Thursday. What is today? Friday. She'll be back next Thursday. We're going to do a politicality show and get caught up on a lot of that. We took a break from that to kind of let everybody soak in all the fascism, I guess.
Yeah. We are watching from Canada, and we are not for sale.
Yeah, well, I don't think...
We will take a couple states, though, if you want to, like, leave. We'll take, like, California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think he would probably be willing to trade California for something.
He can have Alberta. Sorry.
He sure doesn't. He sure doesn't give a shit if it burns to the ground. But that's another show.
Yes. Sorry.
If you wanna see our take on political things and all that, it'll be this Thursday at 6:30. We'll go from 6:30 to 8 and lead into the Transpositions Weekly show over on the Transpositions channel. So come hang out for those. Those were always really fun shows and a lot of information, and we've got a lot to catch up on and talk about a lot of what's happened and the response and possible things, and a lot of "I told you so's" are coming. I think. You know, I feel like Robin and I had really studied all those things so well that we
Yeah.
we almost perfectly called out exactly how this would go on day one, and that's what happened. And you know, everybody said, "Oh no, he's not going to release the January 6 hostages. He wouldn't do that."
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
right. He had to.
Hmm.
Um, oh no, he's not really going to completely shut down the border and start deporting people. He's just saying that to his base.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you know? He's really doing it. I don't think he's really going to deport all those people. I think he's going to murder them, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, whenever you look back at Germany and their leader,
Yeah.
the whenever so there had been this whole thing about the Jewish people are taking our jobs. They're taking money and they need to be shipped out of the country. And that was really the first thing that started.
Yeah.
They put the people on trains and sent them to camp because they were supposed to be deporting them was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of German people didn't even know that that's not where they were going.
Hmm.
Um, because they're fighting a war, and once they had got all those people, I mean, you're talking about 6 million people. It was more than 6 million, but 6 million that they got rid of. um, the How do you logistically and financially send those people to all the different places they needed to go,
Yeah.
and where do you send some of those people? um, so that's how this starts. And again, I mean, we have people on stage giving special salutes and all those like all those things are happening, and
Yeah.
it's right in front of everyone's eyes. And as long as they continue to say, "Oh no, that's not what they're not going to do that," that's too extreme. They're not really going to do that thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're doing all those things and more. And so whenever we're ready to quit pretending like reality isn't real, we can get down to business
Yeah.
and discuss other things. So, all right. Ken Ham has been hard at work, and he's released two videos. And one more time before we get into the first one, viewer discretion is advised. And I'll play the little thing, and then we'll jump over there and start
Mhm.
talking about it. All right.
Cool. Cool.
So, this is what is this? CNN? Is that what this is?
CBS. It says.
CBS. The background here, I was looking at it and I was like, why did they make this like this? Because they've got the people on the curb. Who's this giant man behind him? This man is taller than a fire truck. Like, who is that guy?
We
Um,
do.
Sorry, I spent a lot of time looking at this when I was setting everything up, and I was like, well, what's going on there? But all right. So again, the beginning of this whole video, the subject matter is kind of extreme, and it's only about 5 minutes long. But the beginning of it is probably the worst part of it. And I'm not going to stop during the beginning, so I'll say this before we get going. Um, I think it's completely gross that Ken Ham has exploited the death of children
Yes.
for his own gain.
He's
And
trying to scare people, and I am absolutely appalled at that. That he would use this, and then say what he's about to say.
yeah, this is just I don't know why he had to do it this way. Like, he
Mhm.
could have had this conversation a number of ways, and he chose to I'm going to use this particular thing. In fact, I didn't even link the original video for this,
Mhm.
which I'm not, like, I guess I should, but I don't have to.
Mm.
The but the original video was like something like, "This is why these shootings really happened," or something like that. Like it's complete garbage.
Yeah.
But I'll let it play until Ken Ham gets going, and then we'll stop and talk a little bit. Okay?
All right.
If you need me to stop any other time, what's the safe word?
I knew you were going to say safe word. Pineapple?
Pineapple. Say pineapple, and I'll pause it.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
It began as an ordinary school day, and it was almost over when gunfire erupted this afternoon.
Deadly shooting at an elementary school.
Active shooter, he shot the windows out to enter the school.
The FBI is on the scene of a deadly school shooting.
Police are on the scene of a school shooting, and they were just kids.
Please hurry. There's a lot of dead bodies.
And they just said run as fast as I could, run for my life, so I did.
Came in, he says it's time to die.
Are school shootings really evil? You know, some people would say, why are you even asking the question? Of course school shootings are evil. Well, let me tell you why I asked that question. From a biblical...
I would say that too.
Yeah.
I would say, why are we asking that question? Do we need to?
Well, let me see. Here. Default. Oh, it's coming out of the camera. That's fine.
All right. Is this any better?
That is wonderful.
Yay.
Yeah. But yeah, why would you need to? Because as you heard, like, he's leading into the Bible here. Like,
Oh yeah.
why would we have to? That's not in the Bible, first of all. So you're not going to get a direct answer. So why do we have to play all this traumatic stuff and things, and for you to exploit it to talk about the Bible when it's not
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's despicable. It's
Yeah.
absolutely despicable.
Yeah. And whoever let him start a video this way, are school shootings evil? Like, what? Like, like, just not a good call. Of course,
It's weird, but I remember that kind of rhetoric from growing up and going to like a Baptist school where it was the exact same mindset, where they're looking at the world in a completely different way than we are.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see how he relates
All
this
right.
to the Bible.
worldview perspective, we would say certainly they were evil, they were awful, tragic. But when school shootings occur, I've heard politicians who said,
And they were just kids.
Sorry, that was my mistake. I meant to pause it. Let me put it back and then replay what he had said.
Well, the interesting thing is some of those same politicians all approve of students in the public school.
I missed it. I'm sorry. I can't
No,
find
you're
it
fine.
now.
You're fine. No big deal.
Do you want me to just press play from now?
Yeah. Or if there's a
schools
part.
being taught that
Hold on. Let's go back and get the
evil. You know, some people would say, well, let me tell you why I asked
It
that
was his
question. From
camera
a
work.
biblical
The
worldview
boom,
perspective.
boom,
Well,
boom.
let me tell you why
Who
are
does
shootings
that?
really evil?
Yeah.
You know, some people would say, why are you even asking the question?
Back and forth.
Of course school shootings are evil. Well, let me tell you why I asked that question. From a biblical worldview perspective, we would say
From an
certainly
editing
they were
worldview, it
evil, they were
sucks.
awful, tragic. But when school shootings occur, I've heard politicians who said, well, that's evil.
Evil came to that elementary school.
Well, the interesting thing is some of those same politicians all approve of students in the public schools being taught that we all evolved from animals and we're just an animal and we evolved from ape-like creatures.
But it's
Like, so he asked the ridiculous question
Yes.
with all of the traumatic implications and all of the all the stuff with all the bad camera work. He
It was
did all of those
distractingly bad.
things to then go right back to evolution. Like this had like well, you know,
We go
all
from
know that
school shooting
yeah.
to teaching about evolution and being apes, and that means that we can't have. What about the school shootings that have taken place in Christian schools?
No. I mean, there is no tie between these things. They're just
No.
He was reaching really hard to
pull at heartstrings.
Yeah. I'm gonna get an emotional response with this first part, and then I'll get people upset, and then I'll start talking about evolution in a really bad equivocation type way, and with my distracting camera work.
That's the thing. It's not even the camera work. It's just zooming in with a still frame. Never mind. I'll shut up.
It's like he had, because it looked like to me that it cycled through the same things over and over. Like it was just, I've got this shot, this shot, this shot to choose from. Let's just play them all over and over in a loop.
Yes.
Very, very weird stuff, but all right.
Okay.
Schools want to dispute the notion of evolution or give students an alternative theory like creationism. Perhaps it should be taught in religion class, not science.
And they're also told that abortion is okay and you can kill children in the womb, and that's all right. In fact, we have politicians that want abortion legalized up until the time of birth, and some even say even after birth.
The
citation needed.
A citation, please. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What politician has ever said that?
What politician doesn't understand birth at some point?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember this part of it.
Again, and he's just like jumping around to it's much like the camera work. He's just like jumping around to these straw man things that
have nothing to do with school shootings.
Yeah. I mean, politicians are saying this. Okay, what politicians said that thing? None of them had said that thing that he said. That's, right-wing talking points.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother.
And I'm saying this all
Okay, so that conversation, not what that was about. That was about an infant being born that wasn't likely to survive. And how they would handle that as far as resuscitating and doing all the things. That's not what he was talking about. Go ahead.
Because I want to point out how inconsistent they are, how hypocritical they are. If you're building your thinking on the Bible, God is the absolute authority, so God determines right and wrong. The Bible also tells us in Romans 2 that...
Does that mean that he's saying we're evil and we don't know we're evil? Because school shootings? I can't grasp his thinking here. How does the school shooting relate to evolution?
I don't... He's saying that I think the implication is here that it's a political thing. I think that he's trying to equivocate all these things together and say that the same politicians that are for abortion and teaching evolution in schools are the ones that let these things happen in the schools. I think he's trying to tie it together. It's not done very well, and he hasn't actually.
There is no neat bow.
Yeah, but that's the only reason I can figure that it started there,
Yeah.
and just talk of politicians, because again, there's no politician that would not say that those things are evil. There's plenty of them that rather than do anything with the power that they hold, they wish thoughts and prayers, though, which has been less than useful. So uh, Romans 2:15, they show that the work of the law is written on their hearts, while their conscience also bears witness, and their conflicting thoughts accuse or even excuse them. So this is like a kind of a objective morality thing written on their hearts. I hate when it says that, because it's like that doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything.
No.
Unless it's like that time in Supernatural where they got like their bones tattooed for the demon thing. That's my picture in my head, that God is there with some sort of laser and writing it on their hearts.
Well, that's possible too. Robin with a good take on it here. The I don't know. Let's see where he's going with this. I mean, it's a morality thing, but I don't.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit the argument he's making, so I don't know why he's doing it. But whatever, we'll let him give his bad morality
That
here.
God wrote the law in our hearts. So inherently, we do know what's right and what's wrong. Inherently, we do know that murder is wrong and it's evil. We have that understanding because God put it there. But when you have people who say the Bible is not true, man just evolved, morality is relative, you can go and kill babies in the womb, then what right have they got to tell someone that killing people?
Pineapple.
Yeah. So sorry, I had to add the sound effects in. It was.
I'm like, what are you doing?
It was too easy. Oh boy.
Here I am worried about me being immature.
The I mean, we kind of, Ken Ham's last take was some abortion stuff and things too, and it's he. I mean, it's obvious that he uses these right-wing talking points, and then like if we're gonna like, he wants to adopt the morality of the Bible, which I would say is worse. is worse than anything ever done in the realm of abortion or any other thing that he can come up with. If Ken Ham truly thinks that, and the politicians he supports, since this is a political video, if he really thinks that school shootings are evil, then why is he not pushing for them to actually fix the problem? And instead, we want to talk about the Bible. You're referring to politicians, the people in power. You're not asking them to actually fix the problem, though, are you?
No.
Because they wouldn't like that, because the problem is guns, right? The problem is we have 15 guns to everybody, and we let people that shouldn't have them, and we push out military style weapons and weapons of war as things that people can just carry around in public. So they're easily accessible, and they fall into the wrong hands easily because they're everywhere. And study after study has been done, and guns are the problem. And rather than thoughts and prayers and talking about the Bible, we could actually do something about these things, and chooses not to. Instead, he wants to bitch about abortion, a straw man version of abortion that doesn't occur.
Yes.
Of course.
No.
But I'll let you play it if there's nothing else you want to say about it.
Okay.
People is evil. They're so inconsistent in all of that. Actually, what has happened is we've had generations of kids go through a secular education system, and secular really means anti-God. There's no neutral position. If you're not for Christ, you're against. So it's really an anti-God system. They're throwing God.
That is not what secular means.
No, but again, they have a completely different worldview. When you're in the cult, everybody outside the cult is against you, whether they know it or not. They're working for Satan.
Unfortunately, words have meanings, right?
Yes.
The secular is an anti-God. So I don't know what Ken Ham's talking about, but when I went to school, it was very much not an anti-God thing. There were Christian clubs and prayers in the mornings, and I was taught intelligent design and biology class, and so I'm not sure what the hell he's talking about. I mean, because religion is not science. So they teach science in science class. How is that anti-God? It's not even purposely secular. It's just science. I'll let you control the buttons.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
God out, the Bible out, prayer out, creation out. They teach that you can explain everything by natural processes. Naturalism is really atheism. So they're taught that they're just an animal. So human life has no more value than an animal. That's what.
I am a valueless person because I am an ape.
Well, we'll get to that. But they teach that you can explain everything with natural processes, as opposed to supernatural processes. So one of the things, and I'm sure we've all heard this from a number of different creators, the natural world, we can all agree that the natural world exists. We can see it, we can touch it, we can fondle it sometimes. The natural world is a thing that very much exists, and we can all observe it and interact with it and see it and see its effect on other things, and we agree that that's here. The supernatural world that he wants to appeal to, we should be teaching supernatural causes for these things. We can't agree that it exists. We don't have any evidence that it exists, or even that it's possible for it to exist. So we teach in science, which is the study of the natural world. We teach the natural world in science. We don't teach the supernatural world. So I don't know. Nobody ever says that natural processes can explain everything, but we haven't found anything that even requires us to invoke supernatural processes as an explanation. Yeah. Like there hasn't been a time where we've how does that work? It's probably supernatural. No scientist has ever done that. Didn't happen. So the other thing, what was it that he said that you brought up?
Teaching that we're just apes, that we're just animals.
Yes.
And
this is the thing he said to Bill Nye, right?
Yes, and he was upset that Bill Nye had said to the little girl that she was an animal.
Yeah. No one says we're just apes. We are apes, but
great apes, damn it.
Yeah. We're great apes. It's not that it's nobody's saying we're just apes, we're just animals. That's not a thing that anybody is putting forward other than you. It's
kind of badass. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what is wrong with being animals? I think it goes to show you why they prefer these things, why it's so appealing to people who are indoctrinated into this. I'm better than every other living thing. I'm more important. The universe is designed for me. Everything's made for me. That hubris that comes with it. I think that it shows a lot here, because it's not a just animals or just apes or I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
I mean, I could ramble about how cool it was to actually realize that we are apes and not just put here magically via a golem spell. So whenever I hear someone say something like just apes, it's like, no, number one, we're great apes. Number two, that's freaking amazing. And if you learn about evolution and the history of how we got to where we are and the other species along the way, and it's just really interesting. Yeah.
I mean, I was raised Southern Baptist, so um, apes would be a step up from what I was taught. Uh, a super chat from Left-Handed Jedi. We are part of the natural world, not a part. We are
Yeah.
a part, not a part. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Left-Handed Jedi.
Thank you so much.
The you know, like, and if you go by what the Bible says, we're ashes to ashes, dust to dust, right? We're formed out of, you know, dust or clay or mud, or depending on what you're reading. Like so what do you mean we're just animals? I could say the Bible says we're just dust.
So to be fair, they're the ones that believe we came from a rock.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, completely. Okay.
They're taught that we evolved by chance random processes. They're told that abortion is okay. There's nothing wrong with abortion. Get rid of the consequences of their actions. As we think about that, is it any wonder that there are young people who go through that system who would consider, well, life is pretty meaningless anyway. You get rid of spare cats, get rid of spare kids. We're just an animal, so therefore, what does it matter if I shoot someone, to kill them, because life has no value.
There
life
it
has
is.
no meaning when you die.
There it is.
Yep.
So as I said, I hadn't watched this. So the whole tie back in was to say, because we're taught science about the natural world and evolution, that means that it drives us to not give a shit and to do those things. Funny thing about all of those school shootings, though, huh?
Yes.
If we look at how many of them are committed by, you know, fundamentalists or just believers, those people are on your side, Ken. They're not. They don't. You know, many of them don't believe those things. In fact, like, I remember the DOJ statistics that show that, you know, most violent crime is committed by evangelical Christians. Almost all acts against children are evangelicals, and the stronger their beliefs, the worse their crimes.
December 16th, Madison, Wisconsin school shooting that was a Christian school shooting.
Yeah.
So how wouldn't that be a necessary thing? You take them out of the world, you teach them your way, and so there's no more school shootings. But how can you say that if there's school shootings at your Christian school where you're not teaching evolution, where you're not teaching abortion? Shouldn't they all be perfect, shiny little people at that point?
Yeah. I mean, I think the opposite side of this, in the part like he wants to say it's because they teach they don't matter. And this is I'll poke holes in science and not defend my actual position. But if we look at it the other way, nobody gives a shit about your life here on Earth anyway. It's all about the afterlife. God doesn't care about you here. Like, say you're sorry for not doing what he says, and you get to go be in the afterlife. He's only concerned with your soul. Life here on Earth is the least important thing. Ken Ham said as much in our last video, that it doesn't matter the things you do here. You shouldn't want the awards that you get here, because none of this matters. It's God's rewards later in the afterlife that you want. So, I mean, I could make the same argument about Christianity, that, you know, they're, you know, saying you're sorry to a God rather than having to make amends to your fellow humans would lead you to not care if you commit violent acts against your fellow humans. I could make that argument. It would make perfect sense. But unfortunately, there's some people are disturbed people, you know, like some people have all kinds of problems that I'm not going to get into. I'm not a professional to talk on it, but I mean, they studied these things, and it's been a common thread that there were signs, and there were emotional problems, and there were family problems, and there's a lot of things that led to these events, most of which almost all of which are committed by believers, not the secular world that goes around talking about evolution. So, I think you could make the argument that there's a tie-in to believers for this thing, but nobody's trying to do that. Instead, we understand that it's disturbed people doing awful things that they're broken in some way, almost always.
You're done. That's the end of it. That's what Bill Nye said to me when I asked him what happens when you die. He said, when you die, you're done.
You're done. What? And if that turns out not to be true, that would be very exciting.
Because life has no ultimate purpose or meaning, what does it...
Joe, do you have no purpose or meaning?
That's only under the Christian view, I guess. Like,
how dare you not have purpose or meaning? My goodness. Also, hi, Bentley.
If I don't believe that there's a God to forgive me for things I do against other people, and I think that all the time that I have is this limited time here, there is no afterlife, there is nothing else, then that doesn't make me value my time here less. It makes me value it more. It makes life more important to me. And I understand that Christians can't see it that way, because they can't fathom a world where their sky daddy isn't there to stroke their ego. But the truth of it is that actually in a secular view, you value life and your time here more, and leaving the world a better place when you leave it is more important to you. Taking care of the world while you're here, rather than saying, we can't end the world, only God can do that. It says so in the Bible, so we might as well trash the place, That it's not the atheists or the secular community that feels that way. It's Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Matter. What does it matter if people die? Shouldn't I do what I want to do, and if I can get away with it? Because after all, everything...
Who is it that... I think I've heard it from a lot of people that's like, I murder all the people I want to murder as an atheist. Look at all the murder I'm doing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Again, it comes back to this. I do think there are consequences to the actions that I do here, because since all there is here, human life is so much more important to me than the afterlife. I don't think I can say sorry to God and then just go to sleep at night and get away with murdering tons of people, while the person who just didn't believe goes to hell and burns for an eternity. I don't think those things are true, because they're silly. It's never a case of anyone thinks there's no consequence to living life that way. It's, again, the Christian view, though, that says there's no consequence as long as you tell God you're sorry. You don't have to be sorry or make amends to your rape victim or assault victim or shooting victims or anything else. You can murder all you want. You go to prison, and if you sincerely say you're sorry to God, you still get to go to heaven. But the person who tried to, do things to, the humanist perspective and cared about humanity and human flourishing, does all the things they can do, leads a good life, just didn't believe, they burn for an eternity. That's the thing you believe. And it's ridiculous.
It's all subjective, and I decide my own truth. And you see, that's the issue. That's what it's all about. So, of course, school shootings are evil, but really only are justifiably so from within a biblical worldview. Because without a basis in absolutes, how do you determine what's evil and what's not? What's right and what's wrong? What's good and what's bad? And that is the issue.
So he's just admitted he doesn't understand how morals work. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, sorry, bro.
You can't think that, even though I don't know of anybody that would say that school shootings are not evil.
No.
But he says they have no reason to say that outside of a biblical worldview. I don't hold that worldview, yet I still say they're evil. That kind of that's kind of a problem for your whole argument.
It is. That confuses me, how he makes a connection in his brain that
I
would
think
do that.
I think he's trying to get to you need to justify your justification for your morals. Like, I think it's one of those like philosophy bro things that they get into, and Ken Ham's just like, they dust him off and set him in front of the camera for money every now and then, and
It's true.
I don't know. That was a silly thing to say. I agree with you.
It's only with a biblical worldview can we consistently talk about what's right and what's wrong. What does it look like to have a truly biblical worldview? Well, watch this video to learn what it is and where it comes from.
There's nothing there, Ken.
No, they put it in after, but it's funny to watch him point at nothing.
It is much better. Okay. All right. Let's get video number 2 set up and ready to go. All right.
Oh, Answer Man. You know what's funny? Is that there is actually, in Japan, I believe, a reproduction, full scale, of the Ark in Japan. It's a completely different size than Ken Ham's. Ken Ham used the exact same Bible verses for the dimension, but they're different sizes, and Ken Ham's is bigger.
Ken Ham had to have the,
yeah,
my boat's bigger than your boat pissing contest. Ken Ham says, well, we use the cubit that measures this instead of the Egyptian cubit or whatever, or the other way around. I don't even remember, something stupid he said to justify that. But it was also, he can say, this is the biggest freestanding wood structure in the world. But it was only, you know how they made that claim, right? Because it's not a freestanding wood structure.
I was going to say, isn't it held up by concrete?
What they did is they had supports underneath it, and the pins that the parts that go in to hold it to the building and support it from the inside, they had those unhooked so they could make that claim, and then they fixed it the way it's supposed to be. And so it's not, it was for a minute, and then they put the pins back in. And I say pins, it's more complicated than that, but
yeah,
it was a trick. And it's also the facade of a building. It's not a boat.
Right.
All right. So Ken Ham, he talked about some of his political things there, and this video again, which I didn't link, this is his views on what he thinks about the Trump inauguration. And oh boy, I can't wait for this. I didn't watch any of this one. I have no idea what he's going to say here. But
I don't remember if I watched it or not.
I can imagine. In fact, I could probably go ahead and say it, but we'll let him do it. Whenever you're ready, Jess, go ahead and kick it off there.
Today, Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th President of the United States.
I was saved by God to make America great again. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear to preserve, protect, and defend. So help me God.
Congratulations. It's January 2025. And what does that mean in the United States of America? It is Inauguration Day, where President Donald Trump takes up the presidency of the United States of America.
I found Carmen Sandiego.
I found the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
There's also the Spy versus Spy one, which is pretty good. How they didn't plan on the kiss, I don't get. Clearly the hat was not going to work. That was just perfectly messed up, and I loved that.
That's probably why she wore it, because I like the little beauty reel here of all the things he said. They didn't mention any of the crazy bigoted racist, xenophobic shit he said.
Oh my God, Joe! What if next week they release a thing about the bishop that gave the speech at church for the inauguration? What if he complains about that?
It wouldn't surprise me. I seen somebody saying on that. They said that well, the Christians now, they're going to have to reconcile this because the bishop said those things. I said, yeah, fucking right. They're going to have that lady excommunicated. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's going to change. It's going to be her that's bad. and I wouldn't be surprised, Jess, I wouldn't be surprised if you're exactly right. That'd be awesome if you call that out and that's what he does.
I would love that. Oh my gosh.
It would fit perfectly.
The mercy, just so against Jesus's teachings. I think that would be an amazing present for me if next week he uploaded that. Just saying, Ken Ham, if you're watching this, you should do that.
For 4 years. Now, President Trump used a campaign slogan, MAGA, Make America Great Again. Well, that acronym could mean something else. It could mean Make America Godly Again. Well, actually, it couldn't mean that. Now, why would I say that? Well, because America has never been truly a godly nation, and America has never been truly a Christian nation. Now, don't get me wrong. Certainly, in the past, America...
What the fuck, Ken Ham? Again, this is not what it was at. The sign doesn't say that. Why is this the subject of the video? It's like, what is January 20th? It's Inauguration Day. Or Bad Sweater Day at Ken Ham's house. Like, he was so excited to make this video. Like, he's
go
like
thrifting and find Ken Ham's sweater, and we should do Ken Ham's Sweater Day.
Ken Ham Sweater Day. He's like standing in the middle of a room looking down at a camera in a horrible sweater so that he can make America great again. Well, it could mean this. It doesn't mean that. We know what it means. It doesn't mean that thing. So why is that what you're talking about?
He's probably hearing from congregations saying, no, it should be Make America Godly Again. And then Ken Ham responding saying, well, no, it hasn't been godly up until now because of this, this, and this, even though I'm pretty sure they showed slavery in there. I just want to bring up the Slaves Bible because that is not something he should be showing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that, like, the scene here isn't of a Klan meeting. Like, we're talking about MAGA. We know what they stand for.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with Make America Great Again. Has a, I mean, let's face it, it's not to every person that supports it, but I mean, it kind of has racial undertones, and it's really about something else, and it's a whole packed thing for Trump to put forward all of his fascist ideas and all of his racist, bigoted, xenophobic bullshit, and to then turn it into, well, what does that really mean? It means what he's doing, not what you think it means, not what words you made up. Like, if he would have said MAGA and we think MAGA means this and Trump's going to do this and that would have been different, but that's not what he's doing at all. He just changed the words and then went with it.
Yes. Basically, yes.
Okay.
America was much more Christianized than it is today, but you can't be a total Christian nation or a total godly nation. Scripture makes that very clear. For instance, in John 3:19, men love darkness rather than light, and also Matthew 7:13-14.
I just wanted to read the Bible verse. Enter by the narrow gate. The gate is wide, and the way is easy that leads to destruction. Those who enter by it are many. For the gate is narrow, and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. Man, that's just fun to read.
I mean, or it could be that, the United States can't be a Christian nation because of the Constitution, you dumbass.
You would think.
It doesn't matter what the Bible says. Like, it's... The Bible doesn't, that doesn't say the United States can't be a Christian nation. There can't be a Christian nation. It doesn't say that. That's what you guys have been fighting for ever is a theocracy. The Bible doesn't say that. It talks about people are more likely to do bad things than good things. That's what it's saying.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
saying that other thing. Okay.
There's going to be more on the broad way than the narrow way, so Christians are always going to be in the minority. But it is true in generations past that America, in fact the whole Western world, was much more Christianized than it is today. In fact, the Judeo-Christian ethic used to permeate the culture, but today an anti-God secular worldview is the dominant worldview in the culture. Now, in the past, in America, for instance, a lot of your founding fathers were Christians, not all of them, of course, but they all had basically respect for the Bible, and the Christian morality built on the Bible permeated America. And so the Judeo-Christian ethic permeated not just America, it actually permeated the entire Western world. But things are very different today. And so what happened? Well, we could look at a number of things that have happened. For instance, one thing that happened, we took generations of kids, even the majority of them that would go to church, and sent them to a secular education system that eventually threw God, Bible, prayer, creation out. It's become a very godless system overall, teaching a secular worldview that man determines truth, teaching against the Bible. And now we've got
That's what the church is for. You just said, like, they go to school and get education. They go to church and get religion. What is the problem here? Like, he's so dead set against education, yet he's tries to spread, like his pseudo education bullshit. But like, if you want to teach them the things about God, teach it at church. Like, they spend more hours a week in church than they do in any single class at school. Like, why do you need them to teach that at school too? Teach science and math and the things that they need to operate in the real world, not ancient shit from people who didn't know anything about the world. Like, I don't know. Yeah. It's such a stupid thing to say.
Generations that are building their morality, their worldview on that, and so we see moral relativism now becoming dominant. After all, Judges 21:25, when there's no king, no absolute authority, everyone does what is right in his own eyes, and we're seeing a consequence of race.
You interpreting that with your own eyes, and
yeah. Do you follow all the you say the Bible's literally true? Do you follow all the laws set out in the Old Testament, which is the only part of it you usually talk about? I mean, a few things Jesus says here and there, but do you follow all of those, Ken Ham? I mean, you tried to defraud the state of Kentucky out of millions of dollars. You ended up in court over it and had to backtrack and fix all that. I mean, I don't think you lied about what the ark was going to do and all those things. So you're not following the Bible literally either. You must be interpreting it with your own eyes and doing it the way that you want. I don't know. What a hypocritical thing to say to people, like, because they go to school and get an education and they go to church and get religion. Like,
yeah,
it's not okay though, unless religion is in everything, unless everything you're teaching is religion based, then somehow it's wrong. Even though I mean, Ken Ham himself spent countless hours standing in a podium in an auditorium, teaching kids that the world's only 6,000 years old and that dinosaurs had saddles and all kinds of stupid shit that isn't supported by anything. Yet he has a problem with them going to school, the place that does teach them how the world works, and learning that, because it's not church.
Raising up generations with the foundation of man's word instead of God's word. Also, for the past 4 years, the USA administration under Joe Biden has aggressively pushed an anti-God agenda, such as LGBTQ and child sacrifice. That's abortion. It's child sacrifice, resulting in the murder of
That escalated quickly.
Who are we sacrificing the children to?
Our Dark Lord secularism.
Millions of.
Oh, sorry.
No, I don't.
That was just a lot, and my immediate thought is he doing this on his personal page because he can't do it on the Answers in Genesis page because that's a mission thing, and therefore they can't discuss politics. So this is just Ken Ham's politics because he can't say this to his congregation, can he?
Well, I mean, he can't. He does, but technically, he shouldn't.
Legally, is he
Yeah.
allowed to? That's my
So legally, to be a nonprofit, you're not supposed to be endorsed by or support one like a candidate like that. You're not supposed to use the pulpit to spread campaign stuff. But the United States rarely enforces laws against churches because you get into this whole like, well, it's my religious belief thing, and then the Supreme Court ends up saying it's okay anyway. So, but yeah, you're right. He's not supposed to do that in church, but they
Okay.
all very much do. If that they can do that, but not as a nonprofit. They're not supposed to be able to do it as a nonprofit. Is the
Okay.
biggest. The
Is that true, Brentley? Can they do that now? Or is that like a I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah. I mean, you could technically they're not supposed to, but
Yeah.
I mean, they can and do because it's not.
Well, isn't like Steven Anderson or whatever preaching his hate stuff, but it's all very Trump based, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And part of what he said about Joe Biden here, and the 4 years teaching that it's okay for the LGBTQ community. I mean, he taught that we should accept each other and get along and treat each other equally, and like he tried to turn it into this awful thing, and then again goes back to abortion and child sacrifice was just like,
Yeah, that's just ridiculously humorous at that point.
he pulled that out of his ass, but
Rectally sourced.
yeah.
Children. But now we have a different administration under President Trump. You know, we have to remember that God has given Trump this position because God's in charge of raising up kings
But
and
wait,
destroying kings.
was he not in charge of Biden? How does that work? Please
Yeah.
explain that to me.
Yeah. When it's the candidate I prefer, it's
Yes.
it's by choice of God. When it's not, it's and he just called him a king, by the way. You know.
Did he?
Yeah. He just said God's in charge of raising up kings and appointing kings.
Oh, down with the monarchy.
Kingdoms, which means also God gave Joe Biden his position. And that's true. And maybe God did that for judgment. After all, Romans 1 tells us when people reject our Creator God, he turns them over to their depraved natures, resulting in sexual perversions such as the homosexual revolution and the gender revolution, which we certainly saw accelerate under the previous administration. Under the new administration...
will you pause it for a second? Just
Yep.
so I can clear up this thing. So
Yeah.
the IRS says... currently, the law prohibits political campaign activities by charities and churches by defining a 501c3 organization as one which does not participate or intervene in, including the publishing or distributing of statements, any political campaign on the behalf of or opposition to any candidate for public office. So that's the IRS law. What it says. That's straight from IRS.gov. So just so we're clear about what it says. So it depends on the how it's set up. But yeah, it's illegal for churches to do that, but they do it.
Okay. Oh, but they do it anyway. All right.
It certainly seems we will see more freedom for the Christian worldview and less imposition of the anti-God worldview that has been actively pushed by the Biden administration. In his inauguration speech, President Trump was adamant that America would stand on two genders of humans, male and female.
Oh, we get into that now. Okay.
I didn't know that's where this was going either.
No. All right.
And that we would not forget our God.
It will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Those aren't genders.
Yeah. It's just to because I don't want to really get deep into this.
Yeah.
But it's all this shows is just another thing that Trump doesn't understand clearly. I mean, just like he also thinks that other countries pay for tariffs. So
yeah,
I mean, it's not really having Trump say it on stage isn't really the own you think it is. I mean, he also drew like dicks on maps and said that's where hurricanes were going. Like he also, I mean, if we just accept everything that Trump says as something good, then I guess, but that's just not the case. He says all kinds of stupid things and is actually like told over, what was it, like over 30,000 lies in his last administration. So it's
maybe he was told he wouldn't be fact checked.
That's what the IRS says, Ember. I read it straight from their page. They said churches can't do it either. I read the law. That was from the IRS.gov's page. I'm not claiming to know any more about it than that. That's what it says. It says churches and charities. Okay, sorry.
Okay, this is not something that I would normally do, but there is a cat here, and I wanted to introduce everybody to my cat, Moya. She's adorable, and sometimes she jumps up, so you might see her in the background. I will call the video back now.
Honored God in various ways through his speech. I believe he is opening the door for us to have that freedom to be able to do all we can to make America more godly again.
I was saved by God to make America great again.
You know, God ordained government to maintain law and order, and he instructs us to pray for those in authority over us. And we need to be praying for President Trump as we should have been praying for Joe Biden too. For instance, in 1 Timothy 2, 1-3, first of all then, I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgivings be made for all people, for kings, and all who are in high positions, that we may lead peaceable and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. This is good, and it is pleasing in the sight of God, our Saviour. Now, God instructs Christians to go into all the world and preach the gospel. That's what we're to do. And we also need to be making the best of, which means redeeming and some.
And I don't think you're making the best use of the time because the days are evil. He's clearly not making the best use of time.
No.
Yeah.
Translations say redeeming the time, because the days are evil. I believe God is giving us an opportunity right now to have the freedom to do all we can to make America more godly again. So we want to make America more godly than it has been in recent times, and certainly to see more of a godly influence in this nation. So I'm challenging us. Let's make the best use of our time to do that, and let's do all we can to make America more godly again. Happy inauguration.
Mamga.
Mamga! That doesn't roll off the tongue, sir.
I get that you read directly from the IRS. I'm telling you, a church, a nonprofit, and a charity are all distinct terms with very different legal definitions. No, and that may be so, but it specifically says churches, and it goes on to talk about ruling 2007-41 outlines how churches and all 501(c)(3) organizations stay within the law regarding the ban on political activity. The ban by Congress is on political campaign activity regarding a candidate. Churches and other organizations can engage in limited amount of lobbying, including ballot measures, and advocate for or against issues that are in the political arena. But there's a difference between advocating for measures and a candidate or legislation. Each election cycle, the IRS reminds 501(c)(3) exempt organizations to be aware of the ban of political campaign activity. The IRS is responsible for overseeing churches and charities and tax-exempt government entities division. So it specifically says churches. That's I don't know. It's not a terminology thing, and I'm not using interchangeable things. I'm reading it verbatim from IRS.gov. I don't know how I could do any better. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying you're wrong, and it's something we can definitely talk about, and I'm all for it. I just don't. I'm just letting you know that there is no being irresponsible with terminology or anything like that. I read it verbatim from the IRS's website, the laws that they have from Congress. I don't know how to do it any better. I don't know. It specifically just says churches. It says churches and charities and other 501(c)(3)s, and then even government things. So it mentions specifically the entities that encompasses. I don't. If there's something that, in addition to that, again, I don't know how it gets around what the IRS lays out as what the laws are. But I'm happy to hear it.
Today.
I think it's the end.
Today, Donald Trump will be...
Oh, no, I guess that was the end. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Ken Ham, two for the price of one again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, Ken Ham just has so many horrible takes on so many things. And it seems like now there's and of course there always has been, but we've covered 3 videos in 2 weeks, and every single one of them he's went back to abortion, this, and they teach this in schools, evolution.
It's very clickbaity too, I find.
Yeah. Well,
and it's the whole thing with him having the school shooting thing before he started talking was dirty. I found that very dirty.
Yeah.
Because it had nothing to do with it.
He tried to tie it back in at the end, but it was so...
It was not working.
Yeah. It was so, even tying it back in at the end, it still had nothing to do with the things that he talked about in the middle. Those were... that he tried to bring it back to a morality thing, but it was education isn't a moral thing. It's there's not a moral implication to teaching facts about the world. I guess for the religious person, the fundamentalists and things, they can they might hold that there is something like that, but I don't know how to get there. It's a weird thing. But Ken Ham keeps us busy with all kinds of stuff, and now that we're approaching the end of the stream here, one more time, I'll just we can talk. No, Amber, I'm down to talk about it. We can get the stuff together and let's have the discussion, because I don't want to. If I'm incorrect, or if the IRS is incorrect or whatever, like I wanna know that. I'm not. It's not a me and you thing for sure. I want to have the best facts to go on that I can have for sure, always. And we can even set aside some time and have that discussion live or whatever, so that everybody can benefit it and better understand how that all works. Because I was under the impression that what that says was the case anyway. And if it's not, I want to know that. So yeah, for sure. Let's talk about it. I don't, it's, but yeah. Anyway, I'll tell everybody again though, I talked to Aaron Raw today, and he is going to speak at the Ark Encounter protest in July. We'll have a thing on the channel, maybe more than one, where he comes and we do some things to promote and do fundraisers and stuff to make that happen. Mark Alsop is also going to speak, and there's a couple other people that I'm working with a couple other people that I'm messaging trying to get, and I'm not going to give their names until I get some.
I message some people too. Just sorry.
Yeah, no, great.
Okay.
Until we get some kind of confirmation, I don't want to.
No.
Because I don't want it to appear if somebody can't, like they don't want to, or like,
No, I get that.
And I don't want somebody to go say, hey, they said you're going to speak at this thing, and them not know what the hell they're talking about because they haven't read their email yet, but for sure, no, like I did talk to Aaron, and he was excited to come help out, and in fact, I'll read you exactly what he said to me about it. Let's see. I would be happy to help out as I can. I too think that the worsening situation demands a louder response. And that was me asking him if he would be interested in coming to it and offering to cover whatever we need to cover to make that happen. Because I know that Aaron does a lot of that stuff, and it costs a lot of money to travel all over the country speaking at everything, and he's taken a hit financially. So if that's the thing preventing him from doing it, we'll figure that out. But we've got till July so we can make that happen. But yeah, so we're all this stuff's coming together. We're getting the things in place. I've got Mark Alsop is actually gonna physically help me go get the stuff and set it up and get everything going. We've got a sound engineer lined out to take care of all the audio stuff and everything. We've got a place for the party. I need to figure out where we're going to do, because there'll be like for donors, for the bigger donors, there'll be like a breakfast set up with the speakers and stuff. So I need to work out a place where we're going to do that or whatever. I mean, that's not a big deal. We could just show up somewhere and do it that morning. I mean, it's not a big deal. But as far as like things to work out, it's pretty well getting worked out. The logistics of everything. We need to get a few more speakers, a handful of speakers. I don't know if a few more is enough, but several, and just get the word out and get people there. And we've got again till July 6th. When that happens to do it. So another big thing that I didn't talk about, I had dropped in my members stuff, but I didn't tell everybody about. The channel's actually partnering with Smoke Cartel, and it's I've got an affiliate link that's in the description that you can go to, and super cheap prices on all your smoking supplies and edibles and anything you can imagine of that type. And it won't work today, but I expect in the next 24 hours or so, the coupon code KY Atheist should give you 20% off of an elite membership, which makes that stuff like even half price from what it already is. So makes things way cheaper. And then there's also for the people that sign up for that, there's also another code I can give you that'll save you another 15% off of anything you buy on top of it. So lots of money to save there. We're going to be doing some other things with them and stuff. There'll be some product things and some sponsored stuff and everything else. But as of right now, that's an affiliate link, and all that does is when you go there and purchase something, 15% of your of your purchase goes to the channel. That's all. So that's in the description if anybody wants to go check it out. What else has happened? Politicality is coming back next Thursday. Sunday, I haven't scheduled the show yet for Sunday, but there will be a show Sunday. We're all going to sit down and have a little talk, and no guest planned for this Sunday. Just me pissing in everybody's Cheerios. Congratulations. But it is what it is. Friday, we'll be doing this every Friday from now until whenever. And Jess and I are also going to be working on some responses to some other creationist stuff in recorded content and things. So there'll be more of that coming out too. I see PC down there posting links to merch and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we got merch, we got memberships, all those things. But you know, if you're here and you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. That's the thing I'd like for you to do the most. That really helps us out. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. As we amass some of these videos on the Spoiled Ham, I'll create a playlist that I'll create a playlist that has all those in it. Great banner. Me pissing in people's Cheerios Sunday. Be sure to show up and see that.
Yep.
Not my kink, Joe. Not my kink.
Well, I mean, I've got a lot of things going on going forward, working for the ARC thing, and great guests coming up. Next Sunday, not this Sunday. This Sunday will be the pissing. Next Sunday, Kip Davis will be here. I won't be pissing that day.
Good.
Yeah, I don't think he would appreciate that.
Do I have to keep an eye on you?
Well, I mean, it might be necessary. We'll have just put it across the top. No pissing on the top of the screen.
No pissing allowed.
Yeah.
No pissing stream.
That would be the stream though where it would take place though, right?
Yeah.
If you put that on there, somebody's sure to piss on a stack of bottles.
It's true.
But for those of you that stuck around though, do you got anything you want to talk about before we close out, Jess? I got something else special that you can see before we leave. Actually, hold on.
Yes.
Not everybody got to see this badass intro you made, so let's show the intro again first, because this will be the intro for this show from now on. Let's show this again, and then we'll get to the other thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that.
Thank you.
You make things so much better around here. If it was me, it would just be like there would be a black screen and like
boiled hair
choking on something and piss and Cheerios.
Piss and Cheerios.
Piss and Cheerios. Yeah. Maybe that's what the name of one of the streams needs to be during the week. Piss and Cheerios.
I will make you an intro.
You can't put those words on it in the first couple minutes though. That's funny. So the other thing is a kind of a big letdown after that, honestly. But I'd been trying to come up with a way at the end of the show. If anybody's noticed, you probably haven't, but a lot of my shows don't really have any kind of outro here lately. I've just kind of been ending them, and it's just the end over. And instead of doing that, you know, I made this. I made like a credits thing that thanks all of my Patreon members, all of my channel memberships, and everybody that supports the channel. Because I like to actually show everybody's name that's a member and stuff on the channel sometime. And I was trying to find a good way to do that, and that was this. And I don't know, maybe I should show this before the videos. Well, I can't do it with the music before the video because, again, it has the F word many times. Oh, are we?
Sorry.
I'm hiding all my cereals. Yeah, yeah. Do not bring your Cheerios with you Sunday. They are in danger.
Oh my gosh.
But okay, so now, do you have anything else you want to say, Jess, before we clear out of here?
Everybody come watch Joe pissing people's Cheerios on Sunday. That'll be awesome. I will try and be there for that. I think I'm free, so
yeah.
Like not on camera. I'll let you do that.
But... No, it'll be just me on camera that day.
Yeah.
I'm not making anybody else take responsibility for it other than myself. I'll be there to do it myself. It's all if you're wondering whose piss is in your Cheerios, it's mine. All right. So with that being said, stick around and watch this little credits crawl thing here, and then it'll end. Well, wait. Okay. Politicality Sunday. I did all the things. Okay. All right. Check this out, and thanks for coming, everybody. Have a great one. See you soon.
Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Yo, I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with a certainty, I have a sense of urgency. A message for eternity, for everyone internally. I had some people burning me, but now they fucking learn to see I ain't the one to fuck with, now they looking nervously. And I don't really care what you think of me respectfully. You can kick rocks if you think you're fucking better, see. I will outwork you, turn you to an enemy. Hurt you so bad that you're gonna need some therapy. I got the motherfucking recipe. I've been cooking up hits, I'ma leave a legacy. You'll be looking small when you're standing right next to me. I'm 5'10", bitch, but I'm 10 feet next to me. I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack bricks up, build what I want to make. Cause I don't give a fuck what you say. Yeah, I'ma do shit my way. So you can go kick rocks, I'ma stack